Before her death, Nichelle Nichols, celebrated worldwide as Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, finally opened up about the struggles and discrimination she faced behind the scenes. For decades, she remained quiet about the challenges of working in Hollywood during a time when opportunities for Black women were severely limited. But in her later years, Nichols' revelations offered a rare glimpse into the hardships, courage, and resilience that shaped her extraordinary life. This is the untold story of Nichelle Nichols, the woman who transformed science fiction, broke barriers, and inspired generations. A starship unlike any other. When Star Trek first aired in 1966, it wasn't just another science fiction show. It was a vision of the future, a future where people from all walks of life could work side by side in harmony. At the center of that vision sat Nichelle Nichols, portraying Lieutenant Uhura, the communications officer aboard the Starship Enterprise. Nichols' role was remarkable for its time. In an era when Black women on television were almost always confined to roles as maids or background characters, Uhura was intelligent, respected, and essential to the crew. Her calm composure at the communications console, her confidence in her uniform, and her dedication to her duties were groundbreaking. For young Black girls watching at home, she was more than a character. She was a symbol of possibility, proof that they too could aspire to greatness. But as inspiring as Uhura was on-screen, Nichols' experience off-screen told a more complicated story. Fans and historians had long speculated about the challenges she faced. Lines were cut, scenes minimized, and promotional photos often excluded her. It seemed some producers preferred she remain in the background despite her groundbreaking role. Yet Nichols persisted, quietly carrying the weight of representation on her shoulders. The making of a trailblazer. Nichelle Nichols was born Grace Dell Nichols on December 28, 1932, in Robbins, Illinois, a small town near Chicago. One of 6 children, she grew up in a family that balanced practicality with ambition. Her father, Samuel Nichols, worked in a factory and served as both mayor and chief magistrate of Robbins. Her mother, Licia, managed the home with care and determination. Grace did not like her given name and eventually chose Nichelle, meaning victorious maiden. From an early age, she showed talent and ambition. At 12, she began dance lessons at the Chicago Ballet Academy, laying the foundation for a career in performance. Her natural poise and talent quickly led her into the world of professional entertainment. She toured the United States and Canada as a singer and dancer, performing with legendary musicians like Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton. By 1959, Nichols appeared as the lead dancer in the film Porgy and Bess, gaining recognition for her skill and grace. Her breakthrough, however, came when Hugh Hefner hired her as a singer at the Playboy Club in Chicago. Over the following years, she expanded her craft, appearing in stage musicals such as Carmen Jones and Kix and Company. Her performances caught the attention of many, including Gene Roddenberry, who would later cast her as Uhura. The challenges of Star Trek. Nichols' arrival on Star Trek marked a turning point in television history, but the path was not easy. While Uhura was a symbol of progress, Nichols herself faced exclusion and frustration. Scripts often minimized her lines, promotional materials left her out, and some producers seemed indifferent to her contributions. At one point, Nichols considered leaving the show entirely. She dreamed of returning to Broadway, pursuing the stage performances she loved. But fate intervened in the most unexpected way. At a banquet organized by the NAACP, Nichols met Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He approached her warmly, expressing admiration for her work and explaining how powerful her presence was for Black Americans, especially children dreaming of the future. Dr. King told Nichols that her role was not just entertainment, it was a statement. It was a testament to possibility, equality, and progress. That encounter changed everything. When Nichols returned to Gene Roddenberry the following Monday, she shared Dr. King's words. Moved, Roddenberry supported her fully, giving her space to develop her character while reinforcing her importance to the show. Nichols chose to stay, knowing her role carried a responsibility far beyond herself. Breaking barriers, the interracial kiss. In 1968, Nichols was part of one of the most historic moments in television history. The first televised interracial kiss between Lieutenant Uhura and Captain Kirk, played by William Shatner in the episode Plato's Stepchildren. At the time, this was unprecedented. America was grappling with intense racial tensions, and the network feared backlash. They even asked the cast to reshoot the scene without the kiss. Nichols and Shatner refused. Shatner cleverly sabotaged alternate takes so that the original daring kiss would be the only usable version. When the episode aired on November 22, 1968, it shocked some but inspired many. Letters poured in from fans expressing support and excitement, and even those who initially opposed interracial relationships could not ignore the cultural impact. Although the kiss itself was brief, it became a symbol of progress, demonstrating the power of representation. Nichols later reflected on the moment with pride, recognizing that in those few seconds on screen, they had changed perception, challenged societal norms, and opened minds. A lifelong career beyond the starship. After Star Trek ended in 1969, Nichols' career continued to flourish in multiple arenas. She reprised her role as Uhura in animated series feature films and even lent her voice to episodes where Uhura led the Enterprise herself. She acted in 6 Star Trek films, her final appearance being in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Nichols also explored other forms of acting and performance. She appeared in movies like Truck Turner, showcased her singing talents in musical films, and lent her voice to popular animated series such as Futurama, Gargoyles, and Batman. The animated series. She appeared on The Simpsons and played diverse characters in both television and film, demonstrating her versatility and commitment to her craft. Throughout her post-Star Trek career, Nichols remained a cultural ambassador, particularly in the realms of science, space exploration, and advocacy. She collaborated with NASA to encourage diversity in the space program, helping to inspire trailblazers like Dr. Sally Ride, Colonel Guyon Bluford, Judith Resnick, and Ronald McNair. Her efforts ensured that the next generation could see themselves reflected among the stars. Relationships on set. Nichelle Nichols' time on Star Trek was not only defined by her role, but also by the relationships she formed with her co-stars. While tensions existed, particularly with William Shatner, these challenges were outweighed by the bonds she created with Leonard Nimoy, George Takei, and DeForest Kelley. Nimoy treated her with respect and fairness, providing support during difficult times. Takei's kindness and humor brought joy to the set, while Kelly's calm, reliable presence offered a grounding influence. Nichols' experiences with these colleagues reinforced her belief in teamwork, empathy, and collaboration, values she carried into every project afterward. Personal life and reflections. Beyond her professional life, Nichols' personal journey was equally complex and fascinating. She dated Gene Roddenberry briefly in the 1990s, before discovering he was also involved with Majel Barrett. She had a passionate but short-lived romance with Sammy Davis Jr. in 1959. Nichols married twice, first to dancer Foster Johnson, with whom she had a son, Kyle Johnson, and later to Duke Mondy. Her life was marked by moments of joy and sorrow, including the tragic loss of her brother Thomas in the Heaven's Gate mass death in 1997. She also experienced unique milestones such as meeting President Barack Obama in 2012, who confessed he had a crush on her and expressed admiration for her role on Star Trek. Even in her later years, Nichols remained active and positive. She encouraged fans to dream big, pursue their passions, and embrace inclusion. Her optimism was infectious, and her presence continued to inspire. Health challenges and final years. In 2015, Nichols suffered a minor stroke, followed by a diagnosis of dementia in 2018. These health challenges forced her to step back from public appearances, yet her legacy remained intact. Legal issues regarding her care created additional stress, with her son stepping in to protect her well-being. Nichelle Nichols passed away on July 30, 2022, at age 89 in Silver City, New Mexico. Her ashes were sent into space, alongside those of Majel Barrett and Douglas Trumbull, as a tribute to her contributions to science fiction exploration and the dream of reaching for the stars. Legacy that transcends the screen. Nichelle Nichols was more than Lieutenant Uhura. She was a trailblazer, an advocate, and a source of inspiration for countless people. She shattered racial barriers on television, redefined the possibilities for Black women in media, and used her influence to promote diversity in space exploration. Figures like Whoopi Goldberg and Mae Jemison openly credited Nichols for shaping their dreams. Generations of viewers saw in her a role model who exemplified intelligence, courage, and grace. Even small moments, like the interracial kiss or a few lines on screen, became powerful symbols of change. Nichols' story reminds us that progress is often achieved quietly through perseverance, courage, and the willingness to stand for what is right. She showed the world that one person committed to excellence and equality could change perceptions and inspire millions. Nichelle Nichols' legacy lives on, not just in Star Trek, not just in the stars, but in the hearts and minds of everyone who dared to dream bigger because she did first.